Okay. And I'm going to minimize you guys so you're not in my video. Okay. I do want to see the participants though. Let's see. Okay, great. So we're going to, let's talk about making a plaid. We got to make a plaid in Photoshop. There's a, oh, you can't see it. Oh, maybe you can. There's a handout you can print out, but I'm just going to show you. I'm going to follow this thing step by step. That way you can kind of watch it in the video, and that will probably help supplement reading the handout, you know, I don't know. Anyways, here's how we begin. First, we want to make a checkerboard pattern, but it's like super tiny. It needs to be, it's almost like thread length, this checkerboard pattern. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go File. In Photoshop, you're going to go File, New. And then it's going to be really small. It's going to be inches. And it's going to be 0.1. Now, when I first did this, I did 1 inch. And I'm like, well, how come this isn't working? This is 0.1 inch. This 0.1 inch. So just remember that. This is super tiny. Okay, so 0.1 inch. And let's see, RGB. And I want 300 pixels per inch. Let's see. How come you're not giving me? Oh, stupid. That's 300. I meant to do this. 0.1 here. So 0.1. 0.1 by 0.1 inch by 300 pixels per inch. So this thing's going to be super tiny. So remember, 0.1 inch. Like, gosh, Dave, just because you made the mistake doesn't mean I'm going to make the mistake. I know. But I was shocked. I'm like, how come this isn't working? Okay. So this is super tiny. In fact, I'm going to zoom in on it. It's like super small. I'm going to zoom in super close. And I want to make a very small checkerboard. So let's see, how do we do this? We're going to, well, we need to use our rectangular marquee. So here's my rectangular marquee. And I need to make a box that's perfectly 0.05 inches. So how do I do that? Well, there's a couple different ways on how to do it. Probably the easiest way is this. When you pick your rectangular marquee, so here I have it selected, you can tell it how big you want it to be. So for instance, where it says, I think it's under Style, Fixed Size. So under Style for my rectangular marquee, I'm going to go Fixed Size. And then this is where you type in it's like 0.05, not 0.5, 0.05. This thing is like tiny. Now let's see, it looks like it also added it, well, I think you might have to add it for both. I already had mine plugged in 0.05. So that's it. So that should work, enter. Okay, so now instead of dragging, I think if I just click, yeah, it will give me the right size because this is 0.05. So what I can do is I can just very carefully put this up in the corner and I'm going to fill that with black. So I'm going to go, now let's see, do I want this to be on a separate layer? Maybe?
Dave?
Yeah, question?
I had a question. So when I was clicking on the rectangular marquee,
yeah.
The width and height are like blacked out, so I can't click on it and put a number in.
Go Style, try Style, Fixed Size.
Okay.
That should, yeah, that's the trick, yeah. And of course they change this every version, so that's why I wasn't 100% sure, because it's like a couple of years ago it's slightly different. But yeah, it's Fixed Size, and then you should be able to do it.
Okay, and it's 0.05 by 0.05?
Yeah, it's that small.
Okay.
Yeah, and then you just want to pick black, and you're just going to fill this. You can click on this default black and white here, and you can just fill, Alt-Delete to fill that. Then if you want, you can copy this thing and put it over here, or you can just do it again. You can use your you can do your rectangular marquee. And
I have a question.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to do this on mine, and it's saying that I can't go smaller than 1. Like I can't put 0.05 on my Adobe Photoshop, even though it's on Fixed Size.
Maybe,
I'm having the same problem.
Okay, so your problem might be your image size might be in pixels instead of inches. So So if your pixels, you can't go less than 1 pixel, that's true. So maybe you because you saw how when I was setting it up, I almost put in the wrong field. I was typing the wrong number. So check, what you can do is you can just close this, make it again, but make it 0.1 inch by 0.1 inch by 300 pixels per inch. Anyways, we can talk about it, but that might be your problem. I'm not 100% sure, but that might be it. Anyways, let me just talk about this real quick, and then I'll answer some more questions about this soon. So I can copy this thing using my move tool. I can hold the Alt key, and I can drag a copy and just put it over here carefully, or delete. Oh my gosh. It won't let me delete it. Okay. So that's it. I got it. Now let me show you again. So I'm gonna make a new layer. Okay. So let me just quickly do this. Okay. So let me show you again. So another thing you might want to do is that's the easiest way though. So using your rectangular marquee, you're going to go style fixed size, and then you're going to go 0.05, 0.05 for height and width, and that should work. If not, another thing you can do is you can use snap. Snap seems to be helping. I didn't have my snap on. Felt like the snap was on, but you could go snap to document bounds. That might help you. That'll kind of snap to the edge. And what you could do is you can just try to like guess, and you might get it. The problem is it's so tiny. Normally you could use a grid. You could use show grid, and like it might show you, and you might be able to figure out the center. But this is so tiny that it's difficult, but you could probably try. So let me try. Watch, I'm gonna go, oh, yeah. Let's see, let me turn off fixed size. I'm gonna go back to normal. Let me just try it just by hand. So you might.
What I did is when I entered in the numbers for width and height, instead of having the pixels, I backed it all out and just put inches after what I put in, and that was able to do it.
Oh, and it saved it as
inches.
Oh, okay. So Amaris, if it was Amaris, if your file is in pixels, try what Brianne said. I think you might have to put IN, or you might just type in INCH. Try that. See if it saves it, but you might want to check your file size anyways, because if your size in pixels, if it's not 0.1 inch, it might be weird. So you might just want to start over. Anyways, let me see if I can get this to work. This looks like it's about.
It's supposed to be 0.1 for the width and 0.1 for the height in pixels, and then.
No, in inches.
Oh, in inches. Okay.
Yeah. So try that.
Okay, and so then where it says resolution, it says pixel/inches, right? That's what we want.
Yeah, 300 ppi, so pixels per inch. That's what you want for the actual resolution, or the So let's see. This won't let me fill. Why not? There we go. So let's see if I got this right.
And so now when I try that, it won't let me make it landscape.
It shouldn't be. It should be a square.
Okay.
It should be like a.
Changing to one, like it won't let me.
I'll show you. Watch. I'll show you. I'll do it again. So watch. New. So let's see. We're gonna go. So first, I want to go. So here's. This could be a problem. So I want it to be inches here, and then for the height and the width, I want 0.1, and you just type it in 0.1 and 0.1, and then for resolution you want 300. So it's 0.1 inches. So this is set to inches, 0.1, 0.1 for height and width. Resolution is 300 pixels per inch. Yes, that's what you. So this is what you want, and then you hit create, and then try this stuff, and it should work. But you can watch the video later, right? So here it is again. Just watch the video again. You don't have to do this right now. Now, I guessed, because it's such a small square, I was kind of able to figure it out. So try, like I said, try the fixed size and 0.05, try that. But if that doesn't work, you saw that I kind of guessed the second time, and it worked. So, if it works, right?
Okay, so like we're gonna go back and watch the video, obviously, but I just wanted to try it now, and it still says when you're trying to do the fixed size, you can't put it at 0.5. Like it won't let you still.
0.05.
Yeah, 0.05.
Try 0.05 inch, IN. 0.05 inch. Try that. Anyways, because 0.5 is bigger than your actual size of your document. That may be why that's not working. Try it. I'll help you with it later if it doesn't work. I'll help you after I show you this stuff. Anyways, it worked?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that was it. That was it. Okay, cool. Anyways, now I'm just ready to save this. So I did this on my background. So I just did on my background layer because the background has white.
Wait, Dave, how did you do the black?
Oh, I filled it. So I had my square. I had my square. And then I just clicked on, you know, default black and white is right here. And to fill, it's Alt Delete. Good question though. You can fill this, you can fill by pressing Alt and then pressing Delete, or you could fill this way. You could fill like this. You can go Edit. Make sure you have black in your foreground.
What size is the square?
It's 0.05.
Not like the whole square, like the little black square.
The black square is 0.05.
Okay.
Inch, yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna fill, so I'm gonna go, you can fill this way too. You can go edit fill. Oh, it's weird, it won't let me. Hold on. Here. Edit fill. Here's another way to fill. And then when you fill this way though, you want contents, you want foreground color. So foreground color, it was your black. It should be there, and you just hit OK. Here, I'll show you again. So you go edit, fill, not a pattern. It might be set to pattern because I was filling with stuff. Foreground color, and you just fill. You want it to be 100% normal. You hit OK. That should be default. Anyways, my shortcut to fill is I hold down the Alt key and I press Delete, and that will fill. That's a shortcut to fill your foreground color. Okay, so I'm ready to oh, now I want to deselect. So make sure you, if you have a selection, it's hard to see. It's hard to see, but I have a selection right here because I filled there, right? So I want to deselect because if I make this a pattern right now, it's only going to make a pattern out of the selected area, which is this tiny part. So I'm going to deselect. Deselect, the shortcut is Control D. Control D to deselect, or you could go to the select menu, select, and you can go deselect right here. It tells you Control D to deselect. So make
I have
sure,
a quick question, Dave.
sure
So when I fill the box, underneath each box is another box of black. Like I have two boxes and they're layered.
Does it look like this though, like mine?
It looks like that, except there's one black box in the middle because it's almost like I have both of the swatches filled with black. So I have like two black boxes layered.
Like you have one in the middle?
Uh-huh.
Then you have to undo it. See if you can do Control Z, Control Z. See if you can undo a couple steps. Maybe you can undo that middle box.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Does it look, well here, wait, does it look like this? Like where it has the gray?
No.
Okay. Yeah, just try to undo it, and worst case scenario, just do it again.
Okay.
I mean, it's not that hard. You can follow. The real trick, guys, is to follow this handout because it's hard to do it while I'm doing it. But like I'm telling you, once you see it and then you follow these directions, like you can do it, right? Anyways, I'm ready to save this thing as a. I'm ready to define it as a pattern, right? So I just want to define this as a pattern. So I'm going to go Edit, Define Pattern. So this is similar to what we've already done. And let's see, does the handout say to name it something? You don't have to name it. Let's see. The handout says name it Plain Weave. I'll name it Plain Weave. Here, I mean, I don't care if you name it or not, but the handout says name, oh, I spelled Plain Weave 300. It says 300 PPI. I'm just going to say Plain Weave 300, so I'm going to hit OK. So I saved it, right? Then what I want to do is I want to make a new document, right? So here's my new document. So I'm going to go File, New, and the handout tells you exactly the size you need to make this thing. So this time, oh my gosh, I want to make sure this is inches. it says it's going to be 2 inches by 0.5 in height, and it's going to be 300. It doesn't say if it's 300 pixels per inch or not, but it is. It should be. So 300. Ew. Okay. So 2 inches wide by, this thing's tiny. It's going to be like a little strip. Let me make sure I'm doing this correctly. Yeah. Okay. So this is a new file. So this is two inches across, 2 inches. You want to set inches here. 0.5 in height, 300 resolution. I'm going to hit create. Okay, so here it is. It's small. If you want, you can save your, if you got this thing to work, this checkerboard pattern, if it worked, you might just want to save it to your computer. You can do this later. You're supposed to just be watching now anyways. But if you did get it, you might want to save it, right? Save it, and then just in case, you probably don't need it again, but you might. Anyways, now I got this thing. Now on this, I'm gonna develop the lines for my Plaid, like the colors, but I need to divide this thing. And there's a tricky way to do it. So, and basically it's in your handout. I'm gonna tell you, and then you just have to kind of do it. It's not difficult, but it's tricky if you get a measurement wrong or whatever. So the first thing I need to do is, what do I need to do? I need to, okay. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is, normally your inches on your grid, see it's gonna look correct. I want it to look wrong, so let's see. Normally, when you show your grid will be like 1 grid line for every 1/4 inch or something like that. But we need to divide our grid, our inches, every 2 inches by 20, right? So we need to set it up like this. Here, I'll zoom in so you can see it. This thing's really small, by the way. So how do we do this?
Dave, how did you get the squares, the grid?
Oh, this? It's show grid. So you're gonna go view. I'm sorry, yeah, it's view. View, show, grid. And you wanna click on grid.
Okay.
You don't have to necessarily do it yet, but you're gonna do it soon. You're gonna do it soon. I mean, if you do it now, it's okay. But view, show, grid. And that way we can see the grid. But first, your grid may look different than mine, so we have to change this thing. So how do we change the increments of our grid? We're gonna go to Edit menu. And oh, and if you're on a Mac, I think there's like a little, I think I'll say Photoshop, and then in the far left, there might be a little, it might be an apple or something. Your options are gonna be different on a Mac. I think it's like, there might be a little apple right past Photoshop. You might click on it, but it may be different from what I'm gonna show you. But anyways, you wanna find your preferences. So I'm gonna go edit, on a PC, it's Edit, Preferences, and then it's gonna be this, Guides, Grid, and Slice. Let's see if she says it in her, she doesn't say the Mac version. Anyways, so it's Guides, Grid, and Slices. I'm gonna click here. And like I said, on a Mac, there's like another button. I think it's the little apple right past your, I think, but you'll find out. You'll click it. Anyways, here's a lot of options for Guides, Grid, and Slices. And what I want is, for every, the handout says for every 2 inches, you want to have 20 subdivisions. And that's what we want. Now that is highly unusual. Normally you would never do this unless you're doing this specialized Plaid, right? Normally you would have like 1 inch and you would have like maybe 4 or 8 subdivisions normally. But for this, it's a specialized use of the grid. So anyways, every 2 inches and 20 subdivisions. Now you're probably, if you're a math whiz, you're probably thinking like, hey, can't I do like every 1 inch, I can do 10? Probably, that's what I would assume, but because we have such a tiny, I think it would work that way. But anyways, I'm just following the handout, and it says every 2 inches, so you type every 2 inches, 20 subdivisions. And I hit OK, And this is what I get. I get this. So I get this. I get this tiny, you know, subdivision thing, whatever. And what I want to do is I want to follow these. I want to follow this grid and do some stripes. Now, how do I do it? Well, the easiest way is to use Snap. Let's see. Does she tell you to use? Yeah, she tells you to use Snap. So when you use Snap, it helps stuff stick to the grid, and that will help our tools stick to the grid. Just in case, I need to remind you, you're going to go to show the grid. You're going to go view, show, grid. If you ever want to hide the grid, let's say you're done, you're like, I don't want to look at the grid anymore, then you just go back here, you go view, show, and then you uncheck grid and it'll go away. Now, to snap, you go view, snap to, and you want to pick grid. So that way it'll snap to the grid. So watch, I'm going to go snap to grid. So I should be snapping to the grid. I'm going to check though. I always double check because sometimes it's goofy. So snap is check marked. So that means snap is working. And now I want to check what I'm snapping to. It says snap to grid. Now, I also have document bounds. That's okay for what we're doing. Document bounds is basically the edge of your document. So that's okay. But if you didn't want that, I could click on this to uncheck this and it should only snap to grid. But snap to grid and document bounds is okay. The snap to grid is what you really want. So now what am I going to do? Now I'm going to pick some colors and I'm going to fill my pattern here. So let's look to see what I got here. I'm going to go swatches. I'm going to do something different. I did blue last time. I'm going to do orange. So I'm going to go orange. What I could do is you could start by just filling the whole. Oh, look at this. My rectangular marquee is set to fixed size. So I have to change it back to normal to get it to work. So normal for my rectangular marquee. Okay, so now it'll work normally. I'm going to just select this big area. I'm just going to fill. Now, like I said, the shortcut to fill is the Alt key. You hold down the Alt key and you press delete. So I'm going to press Alt. I'm going to hold Alt and press delete. Really? Okay, let me try again. Oh man, my keyboard is dying. Okay, so Alt delete will fill. You know, I'm going to pick a lighter color because that way you can see my grid. There. So Alt delete to fill, Control D to deselect, right? Then I could use my rectangular marquee. Now this is where you have a choice. You don't want any strip to be less than 1 grid square, right? But you can do 2, 3. It will vary your plaid. In the handout, they've got variety. So I'm just going to do some variety. I'm going to do a 3 here. I'm going to fill it, and you can pick any color you want. I'm going to do a peach. So I'm going to go Alt delete. I'm going to go maybe a 2. And this is where you can be creative. This part doesn't, I don't care what colors you do. You don't want to use too many colors for your plaid though. Like I wouldn't use more than what, 4? Don't use more than, to be honest, I really don't care. But I recommend that you don't use more than 4 because it'd be too busy, right? I'm going to pick a pastel green. Maybe I'll do a 1 strip here. Now this is where I'm just making it up as I go along. I'm inventing it. The only thing that really matters is that you are following the grid and you want to make these stripes. The stripes, they can't be half. Like in fact, with Snap-on, I shouldn't be able to make it half. I bet it will, watch.
Dave, I have a question.
Yeah.
How did you get see how you can do that? You can make the rectangle?
Yeah.
I can't do that. Mine just keeps making a square.
Oh, it's because you want, for your rectangular marquee, you want to go back to normal. You probably have fixed ratio or fixed size. You want to go back to normal on your settings. So it's up here, normal. Try that.
It's blacked out for me.
Is your rectangular marquee selected, this guy?
Oh, wait. Oh, what's okay, yeah, but now it doesn't show it.
You hold your mouse and try to drag like diagonally so it's long. Is it still a square?
Yeah. I didn't, but I didn't get the option to change my thing though.
I see. Let me finish. Like I'll help you. I'll help you. Let me
Okay.
Don't let me forget though. So I'll show you how to make
Okay.
the plaid, and then we'll talk about, because I'm recording that way, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, so now once I have this done, and the handout, like I said, the handout will show you, right? Anyways, I'm ready to save this. I want to save this. I want to define this as a pattern. So I'm going to, oh no, yeah, I do. Let's see. Yeah, I want to define this as a pattern. So I'm going to go file, I'm sorry, edit, define pattern. And you can name it whatever you want. I'm just going to name it, you know, I'm going to name it whatever plaid stripes, I don't know, 02, because I've already done one. So plaid stripes, whatever, plaid, whatever you want to name it. When you save it, it's going to be a very thin line. So just remember that, but whatever, there it is. I'm going to hit OK. Now what we need to do is I need to make another new document. Okay. So let me show you. So now, and you could save this too. You could save this as into your file as like plaid stripes if you got it to work. Remember, the most important thing is that your plaid stripes, they follow a full grid hex. So like, just let me show you what you don't want to do. You don't want to do something like this where it's only halfway. You want it to go all the way to the next, you want it to be like this, all the way over. The reason being is because that's kind of like a thread. That's a thread, and it needs to be a certain length. They won't line up if it's not that perfect size, which is complicated, but that's what it is. Okay, the next step is we're going to make another new document, and I'm just following the handout. I think I'm on page 2 or 3. I think I'm on page 3. So I'm going to go File, New. This time, and I want this to be inches here. I want this to be 11 inches by 11 inches. And it's going to be 300 pixels per inch. Okay, so here we go. Let me make sure I got this right. I don't know, it looks right. Okay, so I'm going to go create. Okay, now, this is an 11 inch by 11 inch document. This is a new one. And my grid is super tiny because I made it small, right? Now, what I want to do is I want to fill, I want to fill my checkerboard pattern here. I'm trying to remember if I want to fill it on the background layer. I always fill it on a new layer, but let's fill it on a new layer. So watch, I'm going to make a new layer. How do I make a new layer? For layers, I'm going to go Option, New Layer. So new layer. I think if you fill it on your background, it's probably okay. But if you're like, I don't know, should I do a background or should I do a new layer? Make a new layer. Anyways, this is where I want to fill my checkerboard. Remember how we made that checkerboard? So again, how do I fill a pattern in here? We did it on our last project. I'm going to go Layer button, and I'm going to do a pattern fill. So it's the black and white circle button at the bottom of your layers panel. I'm going to go pattern. Now here's my stripes. I don't want my stripes yet. I want my checkerboard. So here's my checkerboard. Oh my gosh, look how tiny that is. Yeah, so I'm gonna hit OK. And you're like, oh my gosh, Dave, I'm blinded. It looks like gray. Probably looks like gray on your screen. Oh my gosh, I'm going blind looking at it. But if you zoom in super close, these are very tiny black and white squares. Okay, good to go, good to go. But it's super tiny. It's like, it simulates like where all the stitching is going to go, which is crazy. It's kind of cool. Okay, so now what do I want to do? First, I want to make, another 11 by 11, and that's where I'm going to fill my stripe pattern. So watch, I'm going to show you. So I'll go here. So I'm going to go File, New, Inches, 11 by 11. So 300. Okay, so 11 by 11 inches. I'm going to hit RGB is good. Yeah, so inches, 11 by 11, 300. Okay, so I'm going to hit create. So on this one, I'm just gonna fill my stripes, my plaid stripes. So again, to fill a pattern on this, I'm gonna make a new, you know what else I could do? I could just double click on the background. If I double click on the background itself, it becomes a regular layer. I don't trust the background layers. Yeah, whatever, it's layer 0 now. Anyways, I wanna paste my stripes. So I go black and white circle at the bottom of layers panel. It's gonna be pattern, a pattern fill. And this is it. This is my, I mean, I could find it, but it picks your last pattern, which just happens to be this. So I'm gonna click here.
Dave, I have a question with the pattern.
Mm-hmm.
How did you, so when you did this pattern that's on there right now with the rectangles, did you save it as a pattern on the last?
Yes, I defined it. So like when I had this,
Yes.
I defined it as a pattern. So you would go edit menu, define pattern, and that'll save it as a pattern.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you want to do that. And then you want to do the same with your checkerboard too, like your little, this tiny little thing. You want to define that as a pattern too. You're going to go edit, define pattern.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah. So now I got this. And so now the grid is making this look very busy. So I don't need to look at the grid anymore. I mean, if you don't care, you can leave the grid on, but the grid, it always bothers me when it has too much detail to look at. Like, it gives me a headache. Not really, but figuratively, it gives me a headache. So I'm just gonna hide the grid. So I'm gonna go view, show, and then I'm gonna check on the grid. To uncheck the grid, it'll hide the grid. So I'm just gonna go view, show, and I'm gonna check on the grid to make the grid go away. That way it's more easy to look at. All right, so now let's see, what am I gonna do? Now what I wanna do is I wanna copy this. Do I wanna copy this yet? I don't wanna copy this yet. Oh gosh, this is so complicated. If I did copy it, it would have been okay. Okay, so I'm ready here. This is ready, so I'm gonna go back to my black and white checker. I'm gonna zoom in super close on my black and white checker. Okay, here we go. Technical, just watch the video later. Okay, so I'm zooming in on my black and white checker. And what I wanna do is, do I wanna select the black first? Let's see, I wanna select, I don't think it matters. Only the black boxes. Yeah, we're doing black first. So I only wanna select the black boxes, okay? And so I'm gonna use my magic wand, but there's a couple weird settings that I have to use for my magic wand. So here we go. First I click on my magic wand. The magic wand looks like a magic wand. If you can't find it, it's probably, I don't know, underneath. If you can't find your magic wand, it's probably under the quick selection tool or something. Anyways, we want the magic wand. Now, before we use the magic wand, really? Oh. Won't let me select it. That's weird. Oh, really? Does it want me to rasterize it? Oh, okay, well, this is interesting. Okay. Weird. It won't, okay, so it won't let me select. So what can I do? This is weird, I don't remember this happening. Let me try this. I'm gonna rasterize it. So can I just rasterize it? Let me try, I might have to do, I don't wanna do something complicated, let's see. Hold on. Okay. Okay, let me start over. That was weird. Okay, so I'm gonna do fill layer, pattern fill. I'm gonna do my checkers. Okay. Okay. Magic wand. Okay. I don't want to have to teach you this. This is so lame. Oh, okay. Hold on. You should be more prepared, huh? Okay, here we go. This didn't happen to me. I promise you. Okay, so for some reason, let me see if I, so for some reason, it won't let me select this pattern fill, but it should, but it's not. So I need to rasterize this layer. If you can see in my layers, it's a pattern fill. Okay, great. So what I need to do is I need to, if I rasterize this, it should enable me to select these colors individually. And I'm trying to find the easiest way to teach you how to rasterize it. So let's just do it this way. Let's try it this way. To rasterize this checkerboard layer, I'm gonna go just layer, rasterize. And I'm just gonna rasterize that, just layer, just my selected layer. So I'm gonna rasterize it. Now let's see if this works. Oh gosh, it works now. That was so weird though. So you have to rasterize your layer, and I don't think it says that in your handout. I don't think it says that in your handout. So just be wary. I'll remind you like 10 million times, and I'll put it in my I'll put it in the module for today, because that can be bad news. Okay, so I rasterized that layer. You saw it. I went to layer, rasterize layer. So I rasterized my pattern fill layer. Okay, great. Now I want to use my magic wand to select only the black, right? And you just click on it. But there's some settings that you need to do, and your handout tells you these settings. I already have my settings set up this way, but you want your tolerance to be 1. So type in 1 for tolerance. You want anti-alias unchecked. So unchecked. So you uncheck it. And you want contiguous, I believe, unchecked. Yeah. So unchecked. So when you use your magic wand, tolerance 1, anti-alias unchecked, contiguous unchecked. Yes, question?
Sorry. I can't find my wand. Like, I don't have it.
Your wand? Is it underneath quick selection tool? The quick
where would that be under?
Under your lasso?
No,
it's under your
it's not under my lasso. It only shows like the
crop.
This guy? The eyedropper.
Oh yeah?
Like the paint tool, but there's no wand.
Man, you got sabotaged. So I'll have to show you how to add your tools later.
Okay.
It might not be in there yet. We might have to add it.
No problem.
Bummer. That is not something you want to have to worry about. Try hitting, I think that the shortcut is W. Here, let me try. Try hitting W, maybe it'll show up. If that works, great. Anyways, so what I want to do is so tolerance 1, anti-alias unchecked, contiguous unchecked. I'm going to hit the black. So I click on the black, and it should select all your black squares. So it should select all your black squares. It might be hard to see on my screen, but here, I'll zoom in. I don't know. It's so hard to see via Zoom, but here they're selected. They're like, there's a little dotted line moving around my black squares. Now I want to go back to the stripes, and I want to copy it. So how do I copy my stripes? Does she tell you to select all? You're supposed to select all. Let's see. She says, I want to copy and paste. I want to copy and paste this. So to copy and paste this, I want to select all. So I want to select this whole image. The shortcut is, I don't know, I think it's Control A. Control A is the shortcut, but you can go here, select, menu, select all. You want to select all. Then, and you know it's going to select all because you see the dashed line around the edge, and you want to copy. Control C to copy, Control C. Or you can go just edit copy. You can go edit, copy. On a Mac, it's probably Command C, right? So I copied this. Now I'm going to go back. I go back to my checkerboard. The black squares are selected. And what I'm going to do is a fancy paste. I'm going to paste into those black squares. So this is a special paste, and here's how you do it. You go edit, paste special, and it's going to be paste into. Oh, and the shortcut is Alt. Oh my gosh, that's a complicated shortcut. Oh, in your handout, it tells you the shortcut in Mac, Shift Alt Command V, but whatever. I'm going to paste into. So I'm going to paste into right now. So I'm going to paste into. Okay, didn't work. Hold on. I got my keyboard isn't working, so I have to copy it this way. Oh no, no. Okay, hold on. Dude. Okay, this is weird. I apologize. Before I copy this, I don't know why this is happening. This did not happen yesterday. This is also a pattern layer. I need to rasterize this. Then I can copy and paste it. This is freaking me out. This is weird. Anyway, so before I copy this, I need to rasterize it. So the easiest way to rasterize it is I just go layer, rasterize. I need to rasterize that layer. So rasterize that layer. Okay, now please work. I'm going to select all, copy. My black squares are still selected. Now I'm going to paste into. I got to paste into. So edit, paste special, paste into. Gosh, I shouldn't have had to have done that, but oh my goodness, I had to. So there it is. Now let me hide my grid. I'm going to go view, show, not show grid. And you can kind of see that my colors are in that black. Well, they filled the black. And so now you see my colors with the white. And there it is. Oh my gosh. So it did it. So there it is. Now I still have the white. So now's the time to select the white. So I'm going to zoom in kind of close. And I'm going to use my magic wand. I'm going to select the white square. So I select the white. So it selected that whole bar because I'm in the wrong layer. Control D to deselect. I got to go back to my original. My original fill, which is this one underneath it. Wow, I wish this wasn't so, I feel bad for you guys. So you're just going to watch this again and again, right, until you get it right. So I was on the wrong layer. That's why I selected the whole stripe. I selected the original layer with the checkerboard, and then I clicked on the white, and it only selected, I might have, oh, I can't see it. Okay, yeah, it's working. Okay, so I'm good. Now I'm going to go back to this. Now I need to rotate it. I need my stripes going horizontally. So how can I do this? Well, one thing you can do is you can copy your layer. You can duplicate your layer. So I'm going to duplicate this layer. So I'm going to go, I'm going to go option for layers, and I'm going to go duplicate layer. So here it is. So I have a duplicate of it, and you can kind of see it here. Now I want to rotate this thing. So how do I rotate this? Using my move tool. We've done a little bit of rotation, but you might have forgotten. Using my move tool, I'm going to go check mark show transform controls. It's in my selections for my move tool. So show transform controls. Then I'm just going to rotate this thing around. Let's see if it sticks. It doesn't stick. So I need to hold shift. When you hold shift and you drag around this thing, shift will help you line it up. I think it's at I don't know, 15 degrees, but anyways, hold shift and it'll help you rotate it and do that. So then when you're done with your rotation, there's a little check mark up here to click to, there's a check mark to click, or you can just press enter. I'm going to press enter. So I'll show you that again. So I'm going to delete it. Okay, so I start with this layer. This is my vertical stripes, which is good. Then I want to make a duplicate of this layer. So I'm just going to go option for layers. Let me see if I can do it this way. layer. Yeah, you can do it this way too. Layer, duplicate layer. So I want to duplicate this layer. Okay, so I duplicate it. Same thing. So I have a duplicate. I look in my layers. I can see I have a duplicate. Now I want to rotate this thing. I'm going to use my move tool, which is the 4 directions. I'm going to use, I have to check mark this, show transform controls to see the bounding box. And then I go to the corner and I just drag around it, kind of to rotate. But then you also want to hold shift so that it sticks, you know, perfectly horizontal. Then you have to press enter to confirm it. Enter, or you click on this check mark. I can't see the check mark because my zoom tools are there, but I'm going to press enter. I always press enter. Now, if you didn't want to do it that way, let's say you don't want to, there's another way. I'm just going to quickly show you the other way. You could do it like this. The shortcut to transform is Control T. Control T will give you the bounding box. You can rotate it. And then when you're done, you press enter and the bounding box goes away. So that's called free transform. It's just Control T. It gives you the option to transform it, and then you press enter, it goes away. Whatever you want to do, I don't care. So here it is. Now here's my horizontal bars. I want to copy my horizontal bars. So I'm going to go select all. You can go select menu and go select all, or you can just press Control A. So I'm selecting all. Then I want to copy this. The shortcut to copy is, I'm going to do it, my keyboard's not working, so I'm going to go edit copy, but you can do Control C or Command C. Okay, so copy. Now I go back here. The white was selected only, the white was selected, and now I want to paste into, it's a special paste. I'm curious, I just want to see what happens if I do it the wrong way. Seems to have worked. Let me see. It seems to have worked, but for the sake of following directions, I'm going to do it the correct way. Edit, paste special, and paste into. Paste into means it's pasting directly into my selection. It's pasting into my selection, which is those white squares. So paste into. Okay, and that's it. I have a feeling that if you just paste normally, try to do the paste special, but if you just paste normally, it still works. And let me tell you why. The reason why it still works is because the documents are all the same size. Like my original stripes, it was 11 by 11. This is 11 by 11. Oh my goodness, this is it. So that was pretty complicated. And a lot of you have questions, and I will answer your questions very soon. But I just want to make sure I got this recorded so that way you can watch this later. And you can scrub through some stuff if I over explain some stuff. Just scrub through it and get to the part like, where's the part where he does the rotation? You know, do that. But I want to get this on video. But there's one more thing I want to get on video before I answer all your questions about this, because I will answer all your questions about this. And one is we need to have a. We're supposed to. We're not done with it yet. So we want these to be a smart object. So we want this to be a smart object. Now, there's 2 layers that make up my plaid here. It's basically the stripes, right? So I've got like this one and this one. Now, I want them both to be a smart object. Believe it or not, I can have more than one layer a smart object. So watch. I'm going to select both of my stripe layers. So I'm going to hold Control. I have one stripe layer selected. So I'm going to hold Control and click on the other stripe layer. So I have both stripe layers selected. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it a smart object. So I'm going to go however you make it a smart object. I can go here for option for layers, convert to smart object. I'm just going to do that. And so what it did was it actually combined both layers into a smart object. I kind of like that. I like that. And that's what you want. Okay, the handout tells you to do this. I think I could have gone layer, convert to smart object over here too, if you want to. Okay, so now one more thing. There's one more thing we need to do to this. We need to add a filter. You need to add a filter. Now, I'm going to tell you what the best filter is. But if you want to experiment, if you're like, I don't want to follow, I don't care what Dave says. You just want to find a good one. You want to find a good one, a good filter that looks good like a fabric texture. So like some of them might make your plaid look rough, like it's like the stitch is kind of rough. And so maybe that might look good for like a couch or something. But I'm just gonna show you the easiest one. And like, if you don't care, just do what I'm about to show you. So I'm gonna apply the angled strokes filter. Okay, this is the one that seemed to work the best for me. So watch, how do I do it? Well, my plaid is selected. In fact, I should probably name it plaid. Spell that right? Then I'm gonna go to filter, I'm gonna go filter menu. So I go filter, filter gallery. I think it already has my filter selected. Ooh, no, it doesn't. Okay, so watch, I'm gonna zoom out. So I need to find the right filter. So let's see, I'm gonna go to, where was it? It's under brush strokes, I think. Angled strokes. So is this it? How come I can't see anything? My preview turned off? Let's see. Oh, here's why. Okay. So that's it. Angled strokes. And then I recommend, oh, I have 10 stroke length for some reason. So the default is 50. And what is this? I say 10. You can monkey with these numbers a little bit. You're like, no, I think 11 is better. I don't care. I recommend 50, 10, and 3. That's what I recommend. And you can see it looks pretty good. I'll zoom in on it. That's pretty good. So that's it. So the angled strokes filter is under brush strokes. So it's under brush strokes, angled strokes, and there it is. That's it. So I'm just gonna hit OK. There's other ones, but I'm not gonna do those now. So I'm just gonna hit OK. Now, the nice thing about a smart object, so here you can see it's kind of at an angle. It looks weird when you're zoomed in super close, but when you're zoomed out, it looks nice. It looks pretty good. The nice thing about a smart object is when you apply a filter, it's called a smart filter when you apply a filter to a smart object, meaning if you don't like it, if you change your mind, you can replace it or throw it away. I like this one, it looks pretty good. But if, let's say my boss comes in and she doesn't like it, she's like, I don't like that angled stroke. Can you do something different? Sure, it's a smart filter. So I can hide it to get rid of it, or I think I can just double click it. Oh, no, wait, I gotta go here, filter gallery. I'm just gonna adjust the settings really weirdly. I'm gonna make this stroke length. Yeah, I don't like this, but I adjusted it. Let's say she wanted it this way. So I adjusted it, I hit OK, and it should update. Let's find out. Oh boy, I didn't expect it to take forever. Yeah, so it adjusted. I'm gonna undo it though, because I like my previous settings. So I'm gonna do Control-Z. So the nice thing about putting a filter on a smart object is that it is adjustable. And that's it. Finally, I'm ready. I'm ready to define this as a pattern. So this should, this will repeat. It should repeat very well. So we don't have to do any other fancy stuff. So this should repeat. So I'm just going to define this. So I'm going to go edit, define pattern. Just going to name it. You can name it whatever you want. I'm not going to name it because I can recognize it. I'm going to hit OK. Now the real test is this though. I'm going to go back to my homework assignment. Here it is. And I'm just going to make a new fill layer and let's see if it filled. So I'm going to go fill option for layers, pattern. Yeah. And I hit OK. Let's see, let's zoom in. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so now I'm going to stop recording and then I'm going to answer all your questions about this. All right. Okay, so let me stop recording first. And then, like I said, you can review stuff. Just skim through this. You're like, oh, he's talking to me. Just you don't have to watch the whole video. Skim to the part that you want to watch, right? Anyways, I'm going to stop recording.